Tout le monde, ici Catherine Ousselin. Hello, I'm Catherine Ousselin, and I'm going to share this new tutorial. I haven't made one for a while, but I want to give you some ideas on how to do feedback forms for your students. So let's get started. This is a bibliotech virtuelle that I've made for my students, kind of like the Bitmoji classrooms, a little bit less fussy, but just something for them to look at. I've got some links to magazines that are online and a couple of YouTube playlists with audiobooks. I found those on YouTube and in French. They're meant for little kids, but they're still engaging. And on this side are some books. I have several links to different books, like ebooks is great. It's got something like 1,400 books in French that are interactive and a couple other ones, and they're listed by level. So the students can click on those and choose a book or a magazine or a video. Lots of things for them to explore. So then I'm going to have them reflect on and track their own reading. And once they're done, once they've read something or watched a book on video, they're going to come to a Google form. And this one is just for them to reflect on how they did. And I built it. It was pretty easy. I put some pictures in, last name, first name. I've got their Gmail. I'll tell you why I'm going to grab it that way. It's a specific reason. And then I've got them to choose their teacher, their level, and they're going to explain that I chose and I read a book, a magazine, or a video. They're going to just put a little timeline. How long did they read? Giving them up to 20 minutes. They add the title of the magazine or book or whatever it is, and then just some basic ideas. What are things that you understood from the reading? So if you've chosen articles, you can put that in as well. And then I asked them, especially for the younger books that I chose, were there pictures in that source that you read, and then how did they help your comprehension? If they chose something that wasn't a picture book, what would you have drawn? So just getting them to think about how to help their comprehension in different ways. Then I asked them to look up some words, word reference, to help them understand a little bit more. They're going to write the French and English, or they can choose to write it in Spanish if that's their first language. I gave them a little confidence level, how they felt, and then would they recommend this book, video, or anything to someone else? And I've got some statements here for them, so mark that are all true for you. I feel like my reading comprehension is stronger. One of my goals is to feel more confident, and these are all positive. So these are things for them to think about. And then I ask for suggestions. Is there something that you would like us to add? Are you a sports fan? Mysteries? What can I add? Any questions? And then I have them submit. So this is normal. Most people do Google Forms for some type of feedback. When that comes in, it's into a lovely spreadsheet, and those aren't very lovely to look at, are they? What I'm going to suggest to you is using an add-on called Autocrat. Okay, and I'll pull it up here. We're going to walk through it. Autocrat will take the answers from your Google form and put them onto a template that you make in Google Docs. And I've shown this before, how to do Mad Libs, but this time I'm going to show you how to give feedback for something that students are submitting to you, and you want them to have a copy of it and something that they can build a portfolio with. Okay, so they're going to have all of these. Each time that they read, they're going to submit this. And I created this template, and you'll notice I've got these little marks right here, those little side arrows. So anytime that I want to grab information from our form, I'm going to put that in those two little marks, and it has to be both of them, and they have to be opposite directions there. So the Google spreadsheet here has those answers. It goes to your template and says, okay, well, what did they put there? And then it completes the entire template. It merges them. So this is a mail merge. So if you come over to Autocrat, you put that as an add-on. You can add that on. It's free. It's easy. And then let's look at how you do it. When you first start up an Autocrat program, you're going to give it a name. And then you've got to choose your template. And see this template up here? I chose that from my drive. I'm going to make sure it's the same name. It's easy to find. And then now here's the part where we're going to map it. So what you're basically doing is taking that information from these little marks. It's going over to the spreadsheet or the Google form and putting that in. So if you want to just click on that, you can click down, down, down. And every time that you have little side arrows, you're going to choose something to put in there. Okay, once that's done, okay, get all those mapped out, hit next, and then it asks, how do you want to make the file names? And I've done that like this so that I can find easily the student's name and I go last name, first name, so it's easy for me to organize. So you can grab those over here in this little arrow. You're going to find the thing that you want to name it. So I chose name. I clicked on it, and then you hit Control V or whatever you want to do to paste that in there. And then I put their first name in there too. I made these a Google Doc. Okay, so once you get that all set up, then every time that your students submit, they're going to get a copy, you're going to get a copy, and it's going to go into the folder that you chose. Okay. And there's the folder I created. It was called Student Google Form Answers, and that's within my bibliotech virtuelle. I've got the form right here, and then all of the answers that the students, when they submit, are going to go into my folder. Okay, it keeps everybody organized. I skipped through number 6 and 7. It's really not important, but the number 8 is really important because that's when we're going to share the docs and send the emails. So I want to make sure my students get a copy of this. You can choose maybe view only doc or something that anyone can view or edit, but I just keep it like an editable one. I don't really care if the students reshare this, if that's up to them. And then send from generic no reply address. Actually, I want my students to know it was from me, so I choose no. So we set up our email, and the students had put that in there before. Notice a lot of organizations, so schools, it automatically collects it. I turn that off, and I have the students actually put in their Gmail. And there's some reasons for that. I prefer that the students know how to add that in. So over in this little arrow, I can pull that out and go, okay, there's their email, and I paste that right in there again. That means when the student fills it out, they're going to get a copy in their email. And then I made a little, I gave it a subject line. It says Bibliotech Virtuelle, here are your answers. And I wrote them a short little email. It's going to address them by name. And again, I got that by clicking on here and choosing first name and pasting that in there. Okay. And then also I put my name in there as well so that students know which teacher it came from. So if my colleague did this, if one of her students fills it out, it will go to her, which is very nice. Okay, then I hit next. We're going to run the form on a trigger, and the trigger means that when the student hits submit, it just automatically generates it for you. Awesome. And then we don't need a time trigger. I want to let this run forever. So if you were doing this and you wanted the students to stop being able to submit or get an email from you, then you would hit yes and choose a date. But for right now, we're good. Once you're done, you hit save. Okay, it does the little magic, gets it all set up for you. It's a little program. And when this is the only time you need to do this, you're going to hit run job. Okay, so that first time. And I usually like to fill out my own forms just one time, so at least there's one answer in there, and you can see right there. And then I have one student do it as well. So what happens then is that we've got this form right here, okay, and you can open it up. This is what the students would get. It's all filled in. And every time that they put in an answer from the form, it gets put into here. So that's really nice. You can see I might do a little bit more color coding on my template just to make sure that they can see. So if I turn this red like that, that means the next time students come in, they'll see that in red. So I can make changes even after they submit. I could bold it so that the students know that each section is right there. Well, I believe that you have a lot to think about, because if you're going to give your students some things to read and you want to start keeping track of it and helping them see, like, ooh, I started on the lowest shelf and now I'm up to the second shelf and now I'm up to the third shelf. Or if they want to maybe think about the different topics they're reading about, maybe say, oh, I should read a different topic. This is a great way to do that. If you make the Google form, make a quick little template of things this could be in English, this could be in your target language. You set it up with the add-ons on Autocrat, and it's ready to go for you. So if you have any questions, please send me an email. You know how to find me on Twitter and on Gmail. I'm all over the place. I wish you good luck and have a great day with your students. À bientôt. À tout à l'heure. Merci.